Now, you can try my podcast for just 99 cents for the first month by going to larryelder.com. On the front page, you can also check out my weekly column, get highlights of the show, and be sure and follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. Woo! Now, there is the Paycheck Protection Plan that many of you have called about. Some of you have applied for loans under it. And I have friends who are in the banking community, and they tell me it's an absolute mess, that only a handful of people who applied for these loans have actually gotten them. Well, one of the wingmen who served with me, because he made a substantial contribution to one of our favorite charities, operates a business. It's Handy Ramp, and his website is handyramp, R-A-M-P as in Paul, .com. Please welcome Thom Disch back to the program. Thom, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Hey, Larry, how are you?
I'm doing well, Thom. Talk to me about business. What's happened since the economic shutdown?
Well, we've seen a dramatic reduction in sales, like I think every business has. Mm-hmm. But we've seen a steady inflow of quotes. So what we're finding from our prospective customers is they're saying we're still interested, but we're not ready to buy right now. Mm-hmm. They're not saying no; they're just saying not right now. And we find this to be very encouraging. So I'm cautiously optimistic about the future. But in the meantime, we've had a dramatic reduction in revenue, and I have to say I'm not usually a big fan of big government, but for me the PPP and the EIDL loans are a godsend. Mm-hmm. I've seen them; they're working for us. We actually got both our EIDL loan and our PPP loan funded today. To help us keep everything moving.
Thom, before you talk to us,
I'm really excited.
Thom, before you talk to us about the loan and what you went through, I kind of would have thought that your products, since many of them are installed at the home, you might even benefit in a weird way from this shutdown.
Well, I was hopeful that the same thing would happen, but mm-hmm. what we've really seen is that everybody has put things on hold. People, if it's not food, if it's not toilet paper, right. They're not buying. They are like, I really don't, I know I want it, and I may even need it, but I'm not ready to buy right now because just like we did with our employees, we're like, if you're not essential, if it's not absolutely critical, we're gonna put a pause on that until we know what's happening tomorrow.
I'm talking to Thom Disch. He's CEO of Handy Ramp. R-A-M-P. Now, Thom, as I recall, you're married to a banker or somebody in finance.
That's exactly right.
And
my wife is a senior executive at a bank.
And didn't that give you an advantage when you applied for a loan under the PPP?
Because she's an executive, I am prohibited from doing business with her bank. Mm-hmm. So the only thing it did give me was insight into the process.
Right.
And one of the things that I learned from this is that because, we've never seen anything like this, right? We've never seen the coronavirus. We've never seen government step in and say, boy, we're going to really help businesses keep their employees on staff instead of having everybody get laid off and go for unemployment. Mm-hmm. They've said, we want businesses themselves to do it. But in doing that, they had to figure out how does that money get to the businesses. Doing that, we set up the PPP, which is the Payroll Protection Program, mm-hmm. and doing that, they ended up saying, we're going to make you go through your local bank, and then the SBA through what's called the 7A program, we're going to fund that or support the banks so they can provide those sorts of funds to individual businesses. Mm-hmm. But they've had to work on a lot of the details. Originally they were like, okay, how long will the loan stay on the books of the banks?
Right.
Well, nobody knew that, but now the SBA and the federal government's come out with some guidelines that no, we're gonna fund these loans, and then the Treasury's going to buy them from the banks, so it doesn't affect banks' ability to lend more money to keep business going after the PPP program has started, mm-hmm. and after it's implemented. The banks still need to have that liquidity themselves so they can continue to do business without having to put all this money into the PPP.
Now, Thom, for you, Thom, this is a loan. What are the terms?
Well, that it is a loan that will convert to a grant mm-hmm. if we keep our employees on staff.
And how will they know if you've done that?
Oh, we all report our number of employees through the our 941s.
Mm-hmm.
Every quarter we have to report how many dollars we've contributed to their Social Security funds just through our normal reporting. So they will be able to see what we did all of last year, which was how our loan was funded, right? They looked at how much money we paid our employees last year through these 941s.
Tom, we only have a few seconds. Tom, we only have a few seconds left. So then there's no way someone could get a loan like that and use it for a reason other than its intended purpose.
Anybody can do something nefarious,
right?
But they are being monitored.